Probably. So, yeah, very good morning. Like yesterday, we have learned about that is doctrine of strict reliability, where you have heard about the Vizag, LG Polymers, Vizag, and probably yesterday I have discussed about the Sterlite company in Chennai and dumping
Chennai.
yeah hazardous substances. Okay, so
And Bhopal also. Bhopal
Bhopal,
gas.
yeah. That is the basis. That is the basis for the Union Carbide Company in Bhopal is the basis for the absolute liability, which you
Sir, Hyderabad also Bholakpur gas. Can we consider that also, sir?
That's
Bholakpur
groundwater contamination.
Kolhapur what gas? I am not sure.
No, that
gas
is
is considered.
groundwater contamination, sir. That is not
Oh,
related to
That
gas.
was facts. See, your facts probably maybe it is not due to gas. It is due to some hazardous dumping. That is probably that they have got that meat factory or something because of the leather or some dumping.
yes, sir.
The water, there was some water which probably affected.
Contaminated, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Contamination of some
Yeah,
water.
it is mixing of
So
wastage with
because
the
of
water pipeline.
that, yeah. So that those are the facts. Okay. So probably because of that, Bolapur, yeah, yes. It is also a kind of a pollution, right? You're absolutely right. Polluting the society is one of that. For absolute liability, probably a just a moment. Still, students are getting admitted. Uh, okay, so that can be one of the cause. Yesterday we have let us little browse about what we have. Anyone can brief about the strict liability. Any of you all? Anyone? So I'm sorry. And today also new joinees are there. Second phase. welcome you all about that. Uh, how many are there? Second phase. Hello.
Hello,
Anyone
sir.
second
This is
phase?
hello, sir.
Yeah,
This is Ravi Kumar.
Okay, good.
yeah,
Okay.
so this is
Problem.
Shravani.
Yeah, Shavani. So you might have missed certain topics, which
Mustafa Khan,
Yeah,
probably
sir.
you have to. Okay, allow you have to. Doctrine of strict liability. Okay. Now, anyone can brief about strict liability yesterday?
Yeah, hi, good morning. This is Asya. So, yesterday we studied about the doctrine of strict liability. Under this law, this law makes people pay compensation, or, whenever there is a fault, the faulty has to be made liable, even if he has done the fault without any intention of doing it. We also discussed a case that was Ryland versus Fletcher. Then Sir also gave us some exceptions to this law. That was warranty non-fit injuria, act of God, plaintiff's own default, statutory authority, and common benefit of plaintiff and dependent.
Okay, good. Now, and continuation of this is the outcome is the doctrine of absolute liability. So they don't even want to give any sort of exceptions to anyone who is causing any sort of harm to the harm or loss to the either probably maybe through usually a commercial activity. Probably we may consider absolute liability fixing certain because they are for profits. They are for the profits, and probably there was some enactment, that is the Public Insurance Liability Act in 1993, which fixed liability. So all these, whatever we are learning, is connected with the liability. Liability is a duty, it's an obligation, it's a responsibility. Responsibility of whom? The state. The state has is responsible for the security of an individual. So what is an concept of absolute liability which evolved from the case law, that is MC Mehta versus Union of India, that came out with the not with Union Carbide Company, but it has been only it has come out in oleum gas leak case in Delhi. Okay, Sriram Foods. This is a historic case in the judiciary. The case of MC Mehta is based on the principle of strict liability. Okay, the MC Mehta case is based on the doctrine, based on it's an outcome of strict liability, but with no exceptions were given. Individual is made absolutely liable for his acts. It is based under the principle that the defendant won't be allowed to plead defense if he or she was at fault, as it is laid down in R versus Fletcher's case. After Bhopal gas leak, many people lost their lives and sufferings, and some of the fatal diseases through the generation. And because of this, there was an urgent need to develop a rule under strict liability which had no exceptions available to the defendant to escape the liability. So anyone who is trying to escape the liability under the strict liability, they the doctrine of absolute liability has been evolved. So this is for the Indian perception. The rule laid out by the Honorable Supreme Court of India is much wider with respect to the rules laid down the House of Lords in case law, that is R versus Fletcher. The Blackboard was laid down certain principles in R versus Fletcher were being reconsidered by the Supreme Court of India to develop a new rule of the term that is absolute liability. Okay. Supreme Court propounded where any enterprise engaged in hazardous or dangerous activity and if the harm results to anybody on account of any accident in operation, the enterprise would be held liable strictly and absolutely to compensate all those who are affected by such accidents. So, any of the accident which it is causing to harm that any individual or in the society may be treated as absolute liability. So, fixing some kind of a liability that is probably a responsibility, an obligation, a duty, or care. Okay, so that forms the concept of absolute liability. So, what are the essentials of absolute liability? The essential elements of absolute liability are, as we have seen, dangerous thing. In our R and Fletcher, we have come across the essentials, that is dangerous thing, only non-natural, not natural based dangerous you can bring the liability. It is only the non-natural aspects. As per the rules laid down, the liability of escape of a thing from an individual land will rise only when the thing which is collected is dangerous thing, that is thing which is likely causing damage or injury to other person in person or their property on its escape. So in this case, absolute liability, it is not only when it is trying to escape, when it is going into others' land also, then there is a mistake, and that mistake is extended to others' land, then also there will be liability. And if the mistake has been occurred within their own land also, there is a some sort of responsibility, some sort of, so this is a wider than that of an strict liability. Strict liability is only confined to when things escape from the land. And probably with regards to the absolute liability, the dangerous thing, uh, even though if it is causing certain kind of harm within their premises or probably within their land, so then also there will be the responsibility, the kind of responsibility. So the scope of rule of absolute liability eh, are seen as an exceptions in the law, and the individual is held liable only when he or she is at fault. Okay, so with the inception, that is with the enactment of the Public Liability Insurance Act, the main purpose of providing immediate relief to the people who are victim of the accident in which handling of hazardous substance is involved.
Sir, one question here.
Wait, sorry?
One question here. The cases,
Yes.
both the cases of MC Mehta and R versus Fletcher,
Yes, sir.
both are the examples of strict liability.
Yeah, MC Mehta up to Union Carbide Company.
Yeah. Is that case example of strict liability or absolute?
Yes, absolutely. Because see, when Union Carbide Company owner wanted to escape the liability, there were several Parliament has to come to the rescue due because there were certain exceptions which in law Union Carbide Company was trying to uh, take a defense and trying to escape the liability. So there started the issue. Why strict liability till 1989 could not give a proper justice to the people, and for Indian conditions, they need to develop a different concept, that is absolute liability. It is a general tendency where every man who who does some harm, some loss to the society, wanted to escape the liability. So
Right.
probably, yeah. So probably what happens is, there are exceptions to escape. See, the law itself is, providing certain exceptions based on the old rules, whatever, that is the 18th century concept. And now this absolute liability, which is as per the Indian perspective, was developed in the 19th century. So uh, when P.N. Bhagavati, Justice P.N. Bhagavati, who has developed this doctrine of absolute liability through the public interest litigations, that is whatever MC Mehta versus Union of India in Sriram Foods, where they were trying to, Sriram Foods was very clearly trying to escape, because they fixed that whenever there is a commercial activity, because they were all making their profits, and the Supreme Court, due to the public interest, was very clear that probably this profits, what you are enjoying, you are also responsible for certain liability. That was a concept which evolved during the MC Mehta versus in Sriram Foods, that is Sriram Foods, Delhi. So in
Yeah.
that particular, he filed many petitions,
Right.
and because of the victims of the accident in which the hazardous substance is involved, they need to get some sort of relief, because the principle which says litigious ibi remedium, for every violation of legal right to their life, there should be right to life. There should be some sort of remedy. There's some sort of compensation in torts. So that is how the concept is evolving. So Section 2C of the Public Liability Insurance Act 1991, which is a clear exception to the rule of absolute liability laid down in MC Mehta versus Union of India. The state, that is evolution of this concept, is the rule of absolute liability as a result of the old rule, and it can be applied in the Indian law as it is inappropriate, for the reason because the evolution is because of high industrial growth, agricultural use of land, etc. So the reasons is high industrial development and agricultural use of land is also a reason for development of the absolute liability. Then the doctrine of strict liability is becoming an old principle, and it probably it is not able to address all the issues. So there were no exceptions in absolute liability. Absolute liability has been brought up because uh, it laid down after the case, that is MC Veda versus Union of India, that is Union Carbide Company. The enterprise is engaged in any of the kind of hazardous or inherently dangerous material, which if there might result in any kind of harm, then the enterprise would be absolutely liable to compensation to all the people who are affected by the same, as it also happened in Bhopal gas leak. So they are fixing the kind of absolute liability. So this is an outcome of the public interest litigations, because there are several persons were filing and interest public interest litigation, and they are trying to just escape their liability. So even because of so many public interests, so the Supreme Court has evolved. You have the traditional rule of locus standi that held that person whose right is infringed alone could file a bill. So there was no such remedy for the bill. So they have in you have case laws like Bandhu Mukti Morcha versus Union of India, Paramananda Katari versus Union of India. So all these cases they have filed in public spirit, uh, that it is affecting the rights, and under 32 and articles 226 approaching the Supreme Court and High Court, they have framed these rules stating that it is affecting the public individual, and they have imposed the liability under section 133 of CRPC. So any kind of incidents, they can even register a case and inquire into the issues. So the absolute liability has got no defenses. Any liable person causing harm should be made liable. Simple as that. Okay, so probably it's a short topic, and this is a new principle which is evolving. If you look at the evolution of in the environmental law, you have a principle that is known as uh, what is that? Polluter pay principle. So anyone who is causing damage, harm to the environment, he needs to be paid. This is also an outcome of the such jurisprudence, that is the legal theory. It's an outcome of the doctrine of absolute liability, fixing some kind of responsibilities on the individual. Okay. So with this, I would like to stop. If you have any doubts with regards to absolute liability, you may please ask us.
Sir, because of connection to internet, I cannot understand, sir.
Madam, your voice is
Not able to
getting
hear
low.
anything.
The voice is getting low. Are you able to hear
Because of
me?
because of internet problem, I'm not able to hear anything.
Yeah, it is fluctuating. Sorry. Tell me. Let me find. Let me just see. Go ahead, madam. Yeah, you can post it on the. At least you type it. Chat. Yeah, for all those who have joined in the phase 2, we are done with few concepts. Now we are in absolute liability. You can just go through the syllabus copy. It is probably let me just give you the link. One voice for unity in India. How many types of liabilities are there? Oh yeah, as usual, we have vicarious vicarious liability, strict liability, and absolute liabilities. Absolute liability means if any person wants to do it intentionally is absolutely yes, but without no fault theory, how will you account? See, he want to escape saying that it is an accident. That's what some there is no intention. So probably he tries to escape. See, because of the exceptions, because of more exceptions, any individual is trying to escape their liability. Hence, uh, mm, so removing those exceptions and judiciary, that is good conscience, equity principles, that is fundamental, fundamental right to life. They have expounded the theory, especially when it is coming to their life, fundamental rights, health, all these issues has got some serious legal. It's a serious legal right which cannot be damaged. You see, proving a mental element mm, will be difficult. Mens rea is based on certain physical acts. So hence, probably making those things accountable. Um, probably it is difficult, but not impossible. So in between this, taking an advantage of this such loops, probably many people try to escape the liability. That is, they do. It is not that any person can do harm to the society, probably individual or to the society. Or see, in enterprise when it is performing as commercial activity, then probably they have got some duty towards the society. They cannot do as they like. Any enterprise, any individual, yeah, they have to respect the other's freedom. So, so probably with this, I would like to stop. If you have any questions, please ask. Any second phase students, you can introduce yourself.
Hi sir. Hi sir, myself Tarun. I am from second phase. Recently joined. Hello.
Yeah, okay, Tarun. Okay, Tarun.
Sir, Asma. Hello.
Yes, yes, Tarun.
So
Yes.
actually, now the class are in the second unit, no, sir. About the first unit, I just want to ask when can we
Yeah, yeah. Only
revise it?
some topics are there. I will probably continue later. Okay. You
Okay, sir.
continue with this absolute liability. Just go through those. Today, as you have completed my principles today, I'm pleased to. Can you please share details of some portion which I missed? You can
Good
check
morning.
syllabus.
Good morning,
Syllabus
sir. This
now.
is Abdul Sadiq.
Yeah, Abdul Sami. You can check
Yes,
the
sir. How are
syllabus.
you,
Now we are
sir?
taking.
I just
Now we are
completed
taking.
my admission process yesterday, sir, and today is my first class. So I've
Yeah, yeah.
just, if you can just share me the details of the portion which covered in the classes, which I missed.
Yeah.
So it
Now
will be
recently
very easy for me
I've
to concentrate on that.
See, I have shared the link for
Okay.
your convenience. Just look law of torts. In that,
Okay.
you check what is absolute, where your absolute liability is there. Till there, you from absolute liability you continue. Previous we will discuss.
Okay, fine.
Okay, sir.
I just wanted to know, sir, what is your opinion regarding which books we have to refer and the other literature?
Sorry.
I need your help to understand. What is your recommendation to refer which books and the study materials?
Yeah, in the syllabus, probably in the syllabus you have got the prescribed books. You can take Bangya. In torts, you can take Ratanlal, Dheeraj Lal is also there. Choice,
Okay.
slight difference.
We can have this book from the college library, sir?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Fine, sir. Fine, sir.
Thank you.
Because I'm just asking, because there is one person.
So, okay then, okay.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Yeah. Good luck to you all. Probably I will stop my lecture. Next lecture will take your lesson.
Okay, good, sir.
Sir, may we know your name?
Yeah, please.
Srinivas.
Srinivas.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Very well. Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You saw me in admission.
Yeah.
We
Got you, sir.
thank you, sir.